This is Radio Free Galaxy. It's time to go. Welcome to Radio Free Galaxy. I'm Travis Lee. So today is October 31st, 2020. The world's completely falling apart around us. We're a few days away from the most contentious election in the history of our country and the world. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. But I can't think of anything better to do than to sit down with my good friend for over 30 years and talk about Star Wars. The world's going to be what it's going to be. We can deal with it. We can fight those fights another night, another day. But tonight, we got to remember what life is worth living for. And for me and my friend Addam, who's joining me on the show today, for a long time, it's been Star Wars. And we're going to talk about Star Wars, and in particular, The Mandalorian. Season 2, episode 1, The Marshal, just dropped last night, Friday night, whatever. So we're going to talk about it. And so joining me is Addam.
Hello,
Welcome to Radio Free Galaxy. Sorry, I talked over you there a little bit.
Nah, that's cool, man. Thanks for having me. Super excited. If there's, to quote one Luke Skywalker, if there's a bright shining center of the universe, we are most definitely on the planet farthest fucking from. Yeah. But there's a ray of sunshine in our lives, and that is the Mandalorian.
It is the Mandalorian. Well, let's start off first, though. I know why I give a shit about your Star Wars opinion. You know, I've known you for 30 years, and at times you're the only one that I've had to talk to about Star Wars as in-depth as we get. How did that cat get in here, man?
It got in here.
Anyway, we got a cat in the studio, so I might have to get up and let her out at some point, but we'll see if she falls asleep for a little while. Anyway, why should anyone give a shit about your Star Wars opinion, Addam? I could say, how did you come to Star Wars? I could say, what was your first Star Wars you remember watching? I could say all those stupid cliche questions, but honestly, why should anyone give a shit about your shitty Star Wars opinions?
Because no bullshit. I'd go over to my pop's house. My parents were divorced, so he'd have custody every other weekend and then Wednesdays, and without fail, for easily from age 5 until at least 16, every other Saturday, or at least every Saturday I spent at my dad's house, I would watch episode 4 and episode 5. So if you do some simple math, I've seen episode 4 and episode 5 in excess of 200 plus times a piece. And we disagree about which of our, we have our own opinions of which is the best episode. I like 5. You like 4.
Nope. Yep.
My backup to that is it's a toss up between Rogue One and 4, because I mean, who's not to love what started it all, and the bridge between the prequels and the holy original trilogy.
Absolutely. I mean, we're both old school Star Wars fans. I mean, we were mostly alive for all of the original movies, not necessarily seeing them in theaters, but it was part of culture. We grew up watching them, playing with the figures. It's one of the first things we bonded on besides Dungeons and Dragons when we met I was 10, you were like 12, whatever.
Yeah, 6th grade.
In the late 80s. And we bonded on that. And so we've, I was still, episode 4 is my favorite, and I know episode 5 is your favorite. And that's where our basis for Star Wars fandom comes from. So when we watch something like The Mandalorian that just absolutely pays honor without absolutely copying the any of the stories of the original trilogy, but like puts you in that place where you're in that world again, and it feels so honest and real. I don't know. Me and you just geek out about this, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, and with the people they have doing this, like, I have my own opinion about Kathleen Kennedy and the work she's done with the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
But this, like, man, it's Jon Favreau, dude. And, like, all the rest of the other producers and directors and the director.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, Filoni. Like, come on, man. Come on. How is this not a win? It was easily going to be a win.
They care so much about, they're such fans of Star Wars, and they care so much about the fucking story. And do they make some stupid decisions? Absolutely. Is there a bunch of cheesy crap in the first season? Absolutely. Is there a bunch of shit I didn't like in this new episode? Absolutely. But overall, just the feeling you get from the show, it just makes you feel like you're watching new episodes of the original trilogy again. At least it does for me, and I think it does for you too. And that just feels so fucking good. Even as a middle-aged adult, you know, like
right?
I get little kid feelings wanting to watch The Mandalorian again. It makes me feel like a kid again.
Man.
It's exciting, the whole feel of the show. It feels like an old TV show serialized TV show from the 70s or something. And it's just, it captures the spirit of the original Star Wars so well.
Yeah, like I look forward to it. Like when I was in grade school, looking forward to watching that new episode of the A-Team, watching that new episode of Knight Rider or Airwolf, man. It's like this whole freaking like month leading up to yesterday. Like you just get this, you get these stupid text messages on your phone from all these political campaigners doing, you know, people trying just to get you to vote. Doesn't matter who, just get out there, get your voice heard, all that bullshit, you know. The
Super
Red
cool,
Party.
Gotta do that. No, you gotta
but
do it.
then I get that notification from Disney Plus on my phone, right? And there it is. And it's like, oh man, it's so close, dude. It's like, it isn't even like I can taste it, I can feel it. No, man, it's there in your heart. Like, we geeked out so hard at Celebration last summer, seeing all those people dressed up. But like, dude, me seeing all those fucking Mandalorians, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of why 5 is my favorite. You see the Fett.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the man with no name, man. If you're gonna
did you
equivalent to it.
Okay, so let's get into it right away. We got to talk about the end of the episode right away. Like, this is gonna be full spoilers, so you know this isn't a review or anything.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Come back.
Yeah, this isn't a review or anything, because honestly, we're way too biased to fucking review this. I mean, I got complaints. I got super big complaints about things that happened in the episode, but you know what? We'll talk about that too. But we got to get right to the end, man. Instantly, when you saw Tamara Morrison, did you instantly know that it was Boba Fett?
Yes.
Because to me, I was like, okay, but
So let's go there. So, like, okay, so, you know, we already told you, spoilers.
Let the cat out.
Get out of here, cat. You're a baby. She's going to go watch The Mandalorian. That's what the cat's doing.
Yeah.
So, you see, the Marshal's in a Jawa sandcrawler, right? He's getting his water. He's got all these crystals for trade. Jawas are trying to and he sees that Mandalorian fucking battle plate.
Yeah.
And he immediately he knows that's what he wants, because it's the Mando reputation. He knows the pedigree of the armor, or he's heard the rumor of it. So he gets the pedigree. He gets the armor,
right.
And instantly, okay. So I heard some people were like, oh, the fan theories. Like, okay, let's be real. The mouse has destroyed a lot of the expanded universe.
Right.
Fett didn't die when he got eaten by the Sarlacc.
Right. He crawled out.
He crawled out. And the reason why you know this is because there's a book called For a Few Credits More. It talks about how he survived that. Mm-hmm. Dengar helped him. He's the guy with the bandage around his head. He's one of the other bounty hunters.
Dengar.
Yeah, Dengar.
The guy with the diaper on his head.
Yeah. Who used
diaper head.
Yeah, and Han Solo, by the way, is the reason he has the diaper around his head.
Yeah.
He used the grenades that are actually his knee pads. He used one of those and detonated it, threw him out of the Sarlacc pit, whatever. So he survived. Mm-hmm. But the Jawas have his battle plate, because those little grubby scavengers will get anything, which is also very cool. Mm-hmm. That mechanic had R5. If you're not aware, R5 is from episode 4, Travis's favorite. It's the one it's the red droid.
Her name is that's Amy Sedaris playing Peli Motto. We'll get to Amy Sedaris.
Yeah. Christine is definitely more vocal about that one than we are.
We'll get into it though.
Yeah. So I mean, But yeah, and then you see Boba, battle scarred, weary, sun baked. He's got a gaffy stick. He's got a chemical slug thrower. He doesn't have his gear, and that's how the episode closes. Man, it's foreboding, and I was like,
But instantly, my point is though, instantly I see him and you see Tamara Morrison and you're like, but it could, in my head, I'm like, okay, obviously it might be Boba Fett, but instantly my mind went to, it could be one of the fucking leftover clone troopers. It could be, who's alive right now? Rex? Is it Rex or Cody?
Rex would be the one who'd still be alive, but he was old. He had growth acceleration.
I know.
But that isn't to say that there weren't other clones that didn't have growth acceleration. That's entirely possible.
Right.
What they'd be doing on Tatooine, everyone eventually winds up on the planet furthest from.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't instantly go there. I would my mind wasn't made up, but then I looked at IMDb today for the cast list and everything, and it clearly said Tamara Morrison and Boba Fett. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that maybe Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni would be a little more stealth on that. I don't know, like the way they kept, the child under wraps, before it popped out, they didn't even merchandise it or anything like that. I thought that a big ass surprise, like having Boba Fett show up in maybe I didn't check IMDb the day before it dropped or anything like that. So I don't know if maybe they didn't release information until like after the first episode dropped or anything like that.
But if they tip their hand like that, think about it, man. What bigger surprise could there be?
I mean,
what plot?
There's other bigger surprises there could be, especially when you go to fucking Tatooine. Who knows who's supposed to be dead or who's supposed to be around that fucking shows up on that motherfucker. Come on.
Yeah, it's everyone eventually shows up on the planet furthest from.
If there's one thing they like doing in Star Wars, it's fucking going back to Tatooine.
Yeah, there's Tatooine and Coruscant. Those are like the most movie visited planets besides like Naboo or some shit.
And instantly I hear in the beginning of this episode, like, oh, the Mando you're looking for, or whatever. He tells him the character, the crime boss that's actually played by John Leguizamo. Gore Koresh.
Yeah,
he's pretty cool. He reminded me of
David Koresh.
He reminded me of Bricktop from Snatch a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to say something about feeding him to some space pigs or something like that,
or some act dogs or something.
Yeah, but anyway, that dude tells him, he's going to Tatooine, and instantly my first reaction is, especially this happens so much in Star Wars lately, where it's like, oh, we're going to revisit something familiar that you remember from the original trilogy, and it's just like my shoulders just slump. Like, God damn it, But on the upside, it's not that I don't want to go back to that place, but do it right and just don't like give me like member berries and like shit like that. Like, hey, remember this fucking droid and remember this fucking bar and you want to see this again? Look at that alien. You remember him? He was cool, right?
Yeah. But the cool thing is like we spent 5 minutes at the spaceport. You see where the effect of that IG unit sacrificing itself for him had on him.
Yeah, now
he's okay with droids. Yeah, now he doesn't immediately want to blast one into smithereens.
Yeah,
whip out that rifle of his and start disintegrating stuff. But yeah, we spent 5 minutes there, and it was good because it was 5 minutes. We got to see a totally new place on Tatooine, some place that is brand new, didn't really exist in the EU. And it's like
it's cool. So let's talk about Amy Sedaris. So let's get more back to like the beginning. Let's talk about Amy Sedaris, man. I don't know what to say about her. I don't know if it's the writing for her lines or
I think it's the delivery.
But the lines are pretty bad. Her line, I don't know why her lines in the episode she was in last season and this season.
She was better last season.
It's just like she's describing to you everything that happens around her, and it's like really weird,
he's not for sale, is he? No, I'm kidding, but I'm not.
But I'm not, I don't know, man. And the way she talks, it's just like I get this weird Midwestern feel from her, and it just feels very of the earth, and it just kicks me right out of the scene that I'm trying to put myself in. I'm trying to place myself on Tatooine with them there in this dirty, dingy place, and all I mean is, oh geez, like a woman talking. It takes me right.
She needs
out.
to be more rough around the edges.
A little bit more rough. Now,
like not with the child. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Like, I mean, come on, dude. I mean, you looked at me, kind of like laughed when the dude's when they're on the speeder bike, and he's like got his head like a dog, like his dog with his head out the window, and his little ears were flapping. I'm like, dude, I fucking love his ears, and you just gave me that look like.
The child's too fucking cute. We can't even.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, what the fuck are we gonna say about the child? I can't say anything bad about that motherfucker. I actually like how they're using him.
Choke somebody.
I like how they're using him right now because they could be using him as like a plot device in every single episode, and they're really not. Right? He was just like a MacGuffin in this episode. It was just like
he's just hanging out,
being cute by the fucking spittoon in the fucking bar, and fucking, giving his little coos and making his little noises, and is cute as fuck, and I like that. He didn't fucking use the Force at all, or they're not like using that up on every single episode. They're saving it for a special time when they're actually in distress or whatever. So, yeah. But anyway, Amy Sedaris, look, it's not great. I don't know if it's her fault. I don't know if it's the lines they're writing for her. I'm not totally blaming her.
Favreau wrote this episode though, so I don't know. It's hard to blame the writing at that point.
I don't know. I think the episode is directed really well, and it's really cool. I do have some other gripes about it. Like some of the
dialogue for the Marshal is a little.
I don't know. I fucking love it.
But I like the exposition of it, and when I saw Timothy Olyphant,
dude. Absolutely. Let's get into it, dude. We're both Timothy Olyphant fans. I think you even more so than myself, dude.
I love him in Hitman. I had that on my iPod for fuck's sake, and used to watch it on my iPod Classic.
When he takes that helmet off in the bar and in the cantina or whatever,
I was kind of hoping, because you saw how tall that dude was. The torso was out of whack for the distance on the armor and everything.
He's looking like a sexy ass young Stephen Lang. Cross between Stephen Lang and fucking Sam Elliott, man. He's looking so good. He's so cool.
He was like man.
He fits this genre so well that even though, yes, some of his lines are so bad, but he knows how to deliver one of those cheesy ass, like, I'm the Marshal kind of lines, from being on all the shows that he's been on.
But judging by the young one, maybe I got you pegged wrong. Like, he's
just a little inflection on his voice makes it seem
he's bringing in like a little bit of experience from Deadwood on that.
Absolutely. Deadwood, Justified, all those shows that he's been in, man.
And like what I really love is, like, for some weird reason, like all those other things, he doesn't walk so stiff in this one.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I don't know if it's just like that was the characters that he was portraying and all the other ones, because he really wasn't that stiff walking and moving in Die Hard with a Vengeance or Live Free and Die Hard or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The fire sale one of the Die Hard movies. But like most of those, he walks really stiff, but in this one, he's got swagger.
Yeah.
Which normally, like,
he does. I noticed that when I was watching it for the second time, and I was like, when you see him standing with the armor on, you're like, oh fuck, he just stands like Timothy Olyphant. Like that has to be him under the costume.
Yeah.
Like Pedro Pascal, they said he's not in the costume all the time. I don't know when he is, when he isn't, or if he's just doing the voice, whatever. I suppose we could look into it more, but it looked like Timothy Olyphant was standing there. Yeah. Just like, if you've watched enough Deadwood and seen him standing there like a badass with his fucking gun on his hip, and then they had that little shot with they were having the showdown in the bar, and they've got it.
Yeah, right before the Great Dragon came up.
Oh man, that's so good, dude.
He was like right here in front of the child. He's seen worse. Yeah. Like that child has done worse.
Yeah, absolutely. But then we get introduced to this big, what's it called again? The crate worm?
Crate dragons.
Crate dragon, excuse me. Yeah. I'm thinking of sandworms.
Those, I'm surprised they kept that from the EU, the video games. And towards the end, when all those, why they wanted the sand people wanted to keep the remains in the viscera, that crate dragon pearl.
Yeah.
Those actually, like, that
was it a pearl? See, I thought.
Yeah, it's a pearl.
Okay, I thought it was an egg or something. Yeah. I didn't know what the fuck it was.
So, okay. Explain, like, stupid, nerdy explanation. So, if you don't know.
Please do.
Yeah, if you don't know, lightsabers have two crystals. They have a focusing crystal and they have a power harnessing crystal. If you take the focusing crystal out of a lightsaber and put a crate dragon pearl in it, it has different properties. Mm. So, that crystal also determines color of a lightsaber. So at the end of season 1, you see the dark saber. Mm-hmm. There's a crystal, the focusing crystal of that two-piece mechanism in a lightsaber. That's what makes the dark saber the dark saber. It's unique. It's all it is. It's the.
I thought it was the Kyber crystal.
Yeah. But both they're all known as Kyber crystals. One's used for power accumulation. The other one's used for focusing.
All right.
If I'm wrong, comment, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
If you're a super fan, you know what's up.
Yeah,
so that Crate Dragon Pearl, that really shouldn't, like, as far as I've ever seen in anything else EU, it shouldn't be that big. Like, I played Galaxy of Heroes, for fuck's sake. I used to hunt Crate Dragons by myself.
Right.
Wearing the Fets armor because did all the stupid stuff, like crazy fandom stuff.
Right.
So, but that's what they wanted. That thing is so invaluable, but they used to use those on rare occasions to make lightsabers.
Okay.
And they would have different properties on them. So, and if you do super nerdy
that's,
stuff,
that's extended universe. So
yeah. Well, and it's now kind of canon now, although at least the pearl itself is canon now,
but
which is cool.
So you've never seen that one that big, you know? So like, would you chunk that one out or? You know, divide it up into pieces. I mean, what are you doing with something like that? Is it just used for lightsabers? I mean,
it's got other materials. Okay. Like, I mean, in the video game, like in Galaxy of Heroes, you'd get parts from a Crate Dragon, and you could use that to upgrade your stuff. Like, if you use that to upgrade your weapons, like it might do more damage, whatever. Yeah. It would have like game effects like that. Like in an actual Star Wars, like, you know, cinematic universe, man, there's no telling what that pearl could do, and it was huge.
Yeah,
huge. Like that was bigger than that sand person's head.
I thought it looked like a pearl because of how round it was, but I was like, it could be an egg too. I don't know what the fuck, you know, like what are they?
Yeah, it could be. It actually,
dude, the Tusken Raiders, they could be wanting to fucking raise that motherfucker. Like
that's a war beast, you know.
You know, like
a dune, like, you know,
dude. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Tusken Raiders in this episode were fucking awesome.
They were. Although I gotta say, it's that one that they sent with the bantha to lure it the first time. Like, I'm gonna do my fucking, you know, Tusken Raider fucking growly roar thing that, you know, everyone's familiar with.
What was the plan there, man?
Like the dude just sat there, like he waited. Like, okay, you know that big huge cave is the lair of this big huge thing, this ancient creature that swallows bantha's holes. Why the fuck are you gonna stand there for like a good solid 5 count after you screamed to wake it up to draw it out? Like, hey buddy, I brought you a snack, come and eat it. I'm gonna watch it eat it. I'm gonna stand right here next to this big bantha.
Dude, but he definitely drew the shortest straw, dude.
And then they sent 3 dudes to go fucking wake it up.
Are Tusken Raiders really that selfless though? You know what I mean? Is that really in the character of a Tusken Raider? Because I know we're seeing like a different side of them in this episode,
and that's
we've probably
really cool.
Never seen before, and it is absolutely cool. They can be negotiated with. Apparently, they can be trusted. Their word's good. Yeah. I don't know if I dig all that, but hey, whatever. You know, okay. So they've got some honor to them. They're not just thieves. I get that, but they're also sacrificing themselves because that's basically what he's doing, dude. You know what I mean? So
like I don't think that dude knew going in. Like, no. That dude knew going in that there was risk.
There's a big fucking risk, man. Hell yeah.
He stood there for 5 seconds after he yelled, and then he started running. Like,
I bet you nobody volunteered.
Right? He's like, Ugh, you draw short.
How about one of the motherfuckers with a jetpack, man? You got 2 motherfuckers
with jetpacks.
With jetpacks sitting there. And it's like you're trying to wake the motherfucker up anyway. So maybe you couldn't fly in. Maybe you fucking walk up or you fucking ride up, whatever you got to do to be silent walking up. But once you're there, get on your fucking jetpack and get the fuck out of there, man.
I mean,
what are we talking about?
Bring 2 banthas. Maybe you got a running bantha.
Bring a second, younger, faster bantha than the first motherfucker. I don't know, but there had to be a better plan.
Find the fastest dude in your tribe. Send that dude, because they clearly didn't. That one.
Apparently, nobody liked that Tusken Raider because, you know, I don't know. Somebody had to go. I guess
they paid a lot of attention to detail on that.
Yeah.
I think they could have done a little bit better on the Tusken Raiders, their head garb, because that looked a little kind of...
They looked a little clean overall. They looked way too clean for living in the desert.
And a little too uniform.
Way too uniform. Absolutely. I want to see more variations in costumes. I want to see a little more dirtiness, but they did look very action figure cool.
Yeah. and they paid homage to, like, you know, Obi-Wan said, man, these tracks are side by side. Tusken Raiders walk single file to hide their numbers. What did they do? Single file, hiding their numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They were really cool. What else are we talking about here? So we got Timothy Oliphant. He's
and I do hope their paths cross again, dude, because Timothy Oliphant, Gina, what's her face?
Carano.
Yeah, her and
Carl Weathers.
Like, dude, and Pedro all of them in one scene. Like,
I want them so bad to team up. I was thinking about that when I was rewatching the episode today. I'm like, every episode I see with one of them in it, I'm like, I'm waiting for that Avengers style team up, right? But I don't know if I want it in like all the episodes. You know what I mean? I don't want them to necessarily build to that because I like the solitary nature of the Mandalorian, but I would like a nice long arc of it, of them teaming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like the prison break episode in season 1. It was cool to see it's cool seeing the Mandalorian's contacts, like his network.
Yeah.
And like those aren't his friends. I mean, you know,
kind of. A little bit.
Carl Weathers is getting
close.
Yeah, it's getting closer. I mean, Gina's definitely his friend.
Right.
I mean,
she's cool.
Yeah, she is. That's freaking Republic shock trooper.
Yeah.
Or jump shock, whatever the heck they called it. But
so I got a few complaints. So we can't just gush about it the whole time. So I got the complaint about Amy Sedaris. Also, some of the CG was garbage, dude. We gotta call it some of the CG. There's some backgrounds when they're like traveling through the desert and through the mountains and shit that absolutely, like, you got your foreground and that looks all good. Yeah. And they spent a lot of time and money on that. But the backgrounds, they might as well be like the painted wall in Empire Strikes Back. You know what I mean? They look really, really shitty. And also the Tusken Raiders dog creatures, I don't know do you know what they're called?
Starts with an A, like egg
yeah,
dog,
I could look it up, but honestly, the fucking dog creature things, dude, they looked like absolute garbage.
You know what made them look the most fake?
What?
Their eyes.
Yeah. They just didn't have a weight to them. For being as big as they were, I didn't feel the weight of them in the scene because you have all of these characters with these, you know, Tusken Raider outfits that look really amazing. You got the Mandalorian, you got the Marshal. I mean, they're got good practical effects going on, good costumes, and then you just have this really fake kind of. It wasn't even looked like it was full like 3D. It almost looked 2D a little bit too much.
They couldn't just find like a really big, like, I don't know, like a bull mastiff, a really big Saint Bernard, and like shoot it on a sound stage, because that could have been done on a sound stage.
I don't know. They could have
and put it like put like a green covering over it, so that when the Mandalorian like was greeting the first one that came up and like came to get the treat out of his belt, because everyone walks around with dog biscuits in their belt.
Yeah,
I mean that's why you have a utility belt, for dog biscuits, really, and grappling hooks.
Yeah.
When he was petting it, like if they would have green sleeved a dog and had the dog lean in against it to get pet, it would have helped to make it look real. But it didn't.
It just
didn't lean in to get that attention.
That's exactly what I mean. It has no weight.
I mean, sure, maybe you can explain that away with, it's part reptilian or whatever, because it did look reptilian. And like, dude, it's that armor plate towards its hindquarter wagging like a dog's tail, like that. Again, it takes me out of Star Wars and puts me back into the real world, where you expect to see like some dog that has its tail docked would be wiggling its little stump and happy to see its master. It's like, no, dude, that's still an attack animal.
You didn't need to have so many of them in that opening scene when you're introduced to them, when they're walking through that.
Because later on, you only see one.
You could have just had one particularly big, nasty one come around the corner and just make that one look really awesome in the foreground, and fuck with. I don't know how many there were around, but just like as the farther you get in the background, the worse they look, and it's just like, I don't know, man.
Or when stuff in the background is particularly out of focus because there's so much zoom in focus. I mean, the director of photography could have helped out with that one. Yeah. Not that I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But I mean, the Krayt Dragon looked great. I thought the Krayt Dragon, they spent a lot of fucking time and effort on that.
And they made sure so that you knew that thing was definitely subterranean, and all the sand and dust and dirt coming off of it, it was appropriately colored. It blended in with its surroundings. It looked natural. It fit there.
It was cool. So you get like this episodic storyline that we've seen in TV shows 100 times. Like I was searching my mind on when I first got the plot of the episode, what they're doing, and they're getting together with another. I was like, I've seen this Western movie. It's probably some Clint Eastwood movie that I've seen. I'm like, which one is it? The one where he goes into the town and then he's got to get the other, like the other band of other town that doesn't like him, or like the Indians, from those movies, the Indians, they got to get the Indians and the cowboys to work together. I'm like searching my mind, like, which Western movie is this? But I mean, it could be any, but like the take on it and putting it into a Star Wars context makes it so fresh and so new that, like, even though I know what's going to happen in this plot line, it makes me so compelled to keep watching. It's like, I know they're going to prevail in the end. I know the plan isn't going to go according to how it is, how they thought. The Tusken Raiders and the villagers are going to come together. You know all this is going to happen. You know every beat.
It's Magnificent 70, and the
a
trope is
little bit
there.
like
It's a
that,
reused trope.
Yeah,
absolutely. But is it a completely new spin on it? No, it's just a new environment, and it's just done up a little bit differently. And at this point, everything that's been done has been done, and they're just reimagining it. And I think they did a really good job of it. Like when Mando looked over, Sand people open for suggestions. When that one well, there goes that fucking idea.
Yeah, I think he just says they're open for suggestions. It's like, I know it. When they first said, well, tell us how to kill this thing, I was like, well, if they know how to kill this thing, why haven't they done it already? But clearly they didn't. They just had some kind of fucking theory. And basically their theory was that, oh, well, we can hurt it from the belly. Well, like, no fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, no shit. Thanks for the fucking advice, assholes. But, like, you can hurt almost anything through the belly. You know what I mean? So, whatever. So, I mean, the end is kind of predictable. They fail at the original plan. And then finally the fucking Mandalorian has to fucking jump in and actually fucking do something. Up until that point, he was just sitting up on the fucking ridge fucking giving orders like, who the fuck... All right, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty there. We were in the middle of a conversation and talking about the Mandalorian. We were talking about the end of the episode, and something went wrong with my recording. So we're going to pick it up right where we left off. And we were talking about the end of the episode. Ends up, we were talking it was predictable or something, and then the Mandalorian finally had to jump in. The guy with the fucking jetpack finally had to fucking come in and do the business, and he fucking jumps in the motherfucker's mouth and fucking blows him up and fucking comes out. Now, was that acid? Was the fucking Krayt Dragon spitting acid? Does he spit acid?
Like it was spitting bile. I don't think they paid enough homage to that to show some serious, like...
Yeah, so,
obviously those people were gone. Like, they're just dead.
Right. So, like, I mean, how's he jumping in there, though, and fucking... I know he's got the Beskar and shit, and that probably is impervious to fucking acid, but, like, he's wearing other shit that's not covered by Beskar. How is he fucking... If that is acid, how is he not fucking being burned up by that shit? Are we just supposed to ignore that, or what?
Multiple chambers of stomach, maybe?
I don't know. He had the green shit all over him, dude. He was looking pretty fucking slimy, and it was fucking dissolving other motherfuckers all around him, so, like, I don't know. I'd like to at least see a little sizzle on him or something. I don't know. I didn't even see a little sizzle. He's just goopy.
No etching on the Beskar, which, okay, testament to maybe how strong Beskar is. But you saw the Fett's armor. Maybe that wasn't 100% Beskar.
I don't know. Maybe there's some chemical reaction, alien chemical reaction going on there we don't understand about Krayt Dragons. Anyway, we lost part of the episode that we were talking about. After we were done talking about the end, we got into some of our nitpicks about the episode. Overall, of course, we loved it, but we did have some other things that we thought were a little ridiculous. We were talking about the CG for the Tusken Raiders dogs that we still didn't figure out the name for.
Yeah, they kind of look fake. The eyes are the giveaway, really, on that.
Yeah, they didn't have any weight. They looked a little fake. I don't know. They weren't really necessary to be in that number. So I don't know if they would have done one and just done it really, really well. That would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, something a little bit more menacing.
Yeah, we were talking about the backgrounds a little bit. The backgrounds, the foregrounds and the scenery looked really good. The backgrounds kind of looked ridiculous.
You think you even mentioned that it looks like the painted walls in the Empire Strikes Back? Yeah, because that scene where like Luke and Vader are fighting on that little outcropping, that was all painted on the floor. That's all painted. Yeah. It looks really great for the time. That was a really good practical effect, but like, not with today's camera technology.
Yeah, it was wizardry for 1977, or which.
Yeah, 77. Well, that's when it came out, so that would have been like 75, 76.
When they were making it for like 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got to talk about that scene where Timothy Olyphant is fucking riding along on the speeder. Well, that like...
The exposition of like what happened.
Yeah, he throws out the exposition dump of everything that happened after the Empire died and how Tatooine went to shit. And was it the mining guild that came in? And fucking
some
took
mining
over?
syndicate.
Yeah, whatever, those assholes. So anyway, they had to... he's giving that exposition dump, but he's doing it on a speeder. And actually, the Mandalorian's on the speeder, and Timothy Olyphant's on that fucking thing with the fucking pod racer fucking engine on it. Fucking just to be blasting away. If you remember Anakin, he had almost the same kind of engine that Anakin had in fucking episode 1. And fucking, you remember Anakin when he fired that fucker up, he had to fucking scream at the top of his fucking lungs.
It's working!
It's working! But anyway, he gets to scream at the top of his lungs, and you hear fucking Timothy Oliphant, the marshal's fucking Cobb Vanth. He's on the fucking back of that motherfucker, and he's looking right over at the Mandalorian, talking to him conversationally, telling him
no wind through his hair.
Yeah, no wind through his hair, no goggles on his face, no face mask on to keep the sand out of his fucking mouth. He's, not parched at all from riding through the fucking desert. And he explains slowly and coolly in a calm voice the entire fucking history of the fucking planet since the Empire came, and how he came to have the armor. And, I know it's a necessary, all these episodes like that of old TV have to have, if you're like traveling to a new village. It was like always the episodes of the A-Team or something, they had to go, they went to a new town, they were trying to hide out, they didn't want to get involved, they ended up getting dragged into the conflict where some banker or some crooked landowner or something is trying to take over somebody's farm or something like that, and they don't want to get involved, but then they get mixed up in it, and then at some point we have to have an exposition dump from one of the farmer's daughters or something where she sits down with the A-Team at the local
general store owner.
At the general store or something, after they beat up a couple thugs that were trying to rough her up or something. And there's always an exposition. Oh, my daddy, we've owned this land since, blah, 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 since my granddaddy and blah, blah, blah. I know we need that exposition dump when you have these episodes. But, dude, the way they did it, they could have done it around a campfire. They had plenty of opportunities when they had to tell some, yeah, exactly. Like to sit down in front of the campfire and talk about it. But they're sitting on fucking speeders, dude, right next to each other. Fucking, and then, whatever, man. Whatever, it's a little great, but it was a little fucking silly, man. So
yeah, the Gamorreans, their costuming was, man, they didn't look like the episode 6 Gamorreans. Yeah. They looked a little too human.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if those it took me like 4 watchings to determine that they were using vibro or some type of negation field around their axes fighting those 2 Gamorreans in the ring in the beginning.
Right. Gore crush.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was a cool scene. Yeah, I couldn't figure out
the name thing.
What name thing?
Why does everybody have to introduce?
Why does everybody have to introduce themselves as I am Cobb Vanth?
I'm Gore Crush.
Dude, come on, just let's get first names. Let's stop doing the Han Solo thing. I mean, when Han Solo did it, it was super super cool. Yeah. It's a mysterious name, but not every name is as mysterious as Han Solo. And can we get a few more syllables in Star Wars names too? Cobb Vanth, everything. Han Solo, Cobb Vanth, everything's like that. Gore Koresh, Pelimato.
One of my favorite the Star Wars comic book characters like Kir Kanoth. He at least has 3 syllables.
Yeah, that's a long Star Wars name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so anyway, I love the episode. I can't wait. I'm trying not to look too hard into casting or the names of the episodes coming up. I want as much mystery, to fucking show up on Fridays every week. Is this 80? We don't know if it's 8 or 10 episodes. I don't know. I don't even know. I didn't even look up that far. I've been looking forward to this for months and months and months as we've been suffering through this fucking year that we've been going through, and to finally have it here, I just don't even know what's coming next week, Adam. I just want to be surprised. I want, I'll deal with all the things that I think are silly, the bad CG, the bad lines, because overall the care that's put into it to bring new Star Wars just feels so good, man.
You know what? There's 2 franchises, or actually 3, but there's 2 that's important in this conversation, that really respect the fandom, and it's Star Wars and Star Trek. Most people are one way or the other. I like both, but obviously I prefer Star Wars, just because it's what I grew up with. Like I said at the beginning, I've seen 4 and 5 ridiculous amounts of times. Rogue One's getting up there and watchings. I've actually planning on rewatching the animated Clone Wars series because oh my gosh, dude, so good. Especially the last season on that, which we had to wait so long for, and that was a treat to get it. And there was a lot of disappointment in there too, though. Yeah. Well, I mean, and you know what, dude, the mouse really could just.
But they brought it through in the end.
They did.
Brought it through in the end. Those last 4 episodes.
Dude, and Ewan McGregor confirming that there's an Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
Dude, if there's a trilogy of Obi-Wan movies, oh my god.
We'll see.
Even if it's just one, dude, oh my gosh, because there's a really good fan. thing out there. You can probably find it, like Obi-Wan. It was really good, but like,
Anyway,
these man, in these rough times, dude, it's cool to have something to look forward to every Friday. And I'm terrible about watching like anything in syndication. Like, that's why I binge watch stuff after the fact if it's already been like.
I don't want to know that. I hate getting into TV shows because I don't want to end watching a series with no resolution. So many cool series right now that I start watching end up getting canceled before the show ends. You know, and I get that I'm so invested. You know, like what. As bad as Game of Thrones ended, at least it fucking ended.
Right.
At least it ended.
You watched that in like 2 weeks.
You know, like I started watching like The Expanse, and I love that show, but it got canceled, and then it got saved, and I don't know if I want to jump back in because the story's so good, and I get so wrapped up in that fucking show that like I'm afraid that I'm gonna get let down by it not finishing and telling its ultimate story.
Well, there are books for it.
I know, man, but I'm just talking about TV. Of course, I could read the books, man, but you know, I just don't want to get invested in fucking 4 seasons of a fucking show, 5 seasons of a fucking show, man. And know that I'm never gonna get a resolution.
There's a 3rd series for The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and like I should not have, but like I did a 7-day.
You started it?
Yeah, I'm a dumbass.
Are you caught up to date with the regular Walking Dead?
I need to resubscribe to AMC on Amazon so I can watch I like Fear the Walking Dead more than I like The Walking Dead. Yeah. Just because The Walking Dead got it. But anyway, it's not Star Wars, so fuck it.
Well,
I mean, it's cool.
It's our fucking podcast.
Well, yeah. I mean, so, and that's just it. Like, I mean, apparently one of these days we're just gonna have to do a whole fucking get Christine and Trisha here and just talk about fandom, because I know Trisha, her fandom is got to be a little bit different than ours, because like I know that she's into something. She's got to be into something cool besides just her music. Which, shameless plug, check out Murder Generation. Punk music. I don't like punk, but I like Murder Generation.
Oh, well, that's a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna talk about. We're huge Star Wars fans, but we're also fans of a lot of things, and I don't know about you, but that's what makes life worth living. Sometimes we have to fight our battles during the day, and we fight our battles at work to get respect and as much money as we need, and we fight our battles out in the street for racial justice, gender equality, and all those things. And all those things are very important. But at night, we have to have something to unwind to.
There has to be a decompression.
We have to have something to look forward to. There has to be some joy in life. Yeah. And for whatever it is for you, we probably will talk about it eventually on this show. But for me and Adam right now, as many flaws as there's in The Mandalorian, we love this show.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me feel so good. I feel like a fucking 12-year-old kid, and I fucking love it, and I can't wait till next week. And we'll probably be on next week recording another episode about it. Sorry we had some technical difficulties tonight. You lost a bunch of super awesome stuff that got cut out in the middle of the episode because I was too stupid to set up my computer properly to not close my browser while I was in the middle of talking, but I'm a fucking noob to podcasting. But
well, and it's a good thing that you know somebody who works in IT who can help you out with it.
Yeah, so that's you.
30-second fix.
So Adam, do you want people to find you anywhere on social media?
Eventually, not right now.
Not right now.
I mean, if you want to look up Addam Paniagua, Paniagua on YouTube, there's 2 videos of when I got my oldest cat. There's some stupid videos of me playing Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yes, there is.
That's about it, really.
That's another thing we're going to have some podcasts about between us is Magic the Gathering, because I've just recently started playing after about 25 years of you trying to get me to play.
When we talk about that, we'll talk about the origins of that 20 years ago, the attempt made. I mean, but like, again, like, dude, we bonded over Star Wars and Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons thanks to my older brother since I was like 7. I met Travis and heard that he played Dungeons and Dragons, and the other guys who went to the same grade school you went to, because I mean, I was rolling into a whole new crew of friends, which was super cool and exciting. Leaf and Dave and Pat and all them guys, and like, I mean, like, you guys have no idea the amount of nerddom. Like, if you saw me and Travis and looked at us and like, if you had to like on the spot, like, are those 2 dudes like fanboy nerds. Like, you should really honestly say yeah, because we're usually wearing something that's fanboy related. But
I don't give a fuck.
But if you're
I wear my fandoms on my. I honestly
Okay.
don't care. You know, you can call me a person in Arrested Development childhood. Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
care.
definitely been a failure to launch, but dude, you know what?
I'm
Being
just-
on this landing pad is fucking fun.
I'm just living my life as I wanted to when I was fucking 12 and 13 years old. I just got the money to do it now. So
Right.
fuck
And
it.
to do it well.
And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it with all of you and the things that you love. So
Yeah, you're gonna hear our biased, opinionated things, and like, hey, like, I don't know if you got comments going on this, man. Leave comments.
yeah, there's some
Absolutely.
comments.
There's something
You can send me an email. I don't have any social media hooked up for the podcast yet. I will. I'll get on it. You know, life's been fucking really crazy lately. The first episode got taken down, you know, for copyright stuff, but I got it back up, and bullshit. I missed a couple episodes that I wanted to fucking do. We fucked this one up in the middle, but we're going to get better at this. We're going to do it, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and I hope you join us. You can send me an email at rfgalaxypodcast@gmail.com, rfgalaxypodcast@gmail.com. And this has been Addam Paniagua and Travis Lee, and this is Radio Free Galaxy.
We hope you enjoyed it.